Multiple shocking Knicks free agency updates have just surfaced. Updates that absolutely you could never have seen coming. And let me tell you, the Knicks dodged a major bullet. There's been heavy talk linking them to a number of high-profile players who would have clashed with their vision, torn apart their chemistry, and ultimately hindered their chances of winning. Still, there's one player in particular who remains on their radar. Let's break all of it down. What's up, everyone? It's Shams here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because this channel delivers daily hot takes on Knicks free agency drama, off-season strategy, and the latest updates on the Mike Brown coaching hire. You do not want to miss what's coming. So let's dive straight in. Front office architect Leon Rose has been operating like a hawk on this roster. He's exploring every avenue, from under rock mattresses to behind cactus plants, just to uncover undervalued talent to bolster this squad. And when names started to surface, this one in particular stirred some noise. The Knicks have checked in on Ben Simmons during free agency. Yes, that's right, the former #1 overall pick, once the best young defender in the NBA, now again floating in the Knicks' orbit. Here's the full scope. Simmons averaged just around 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists last season, and logged 0 blocks or steals per game. Meanwhile, he's now seeking a deal well above the minimum, reportedly eyeing mid-level offers, aiming for more than just a spot on the bench. And while Simmons apparently spent the summer casually shooting threes on Instagram, it's become abundantly clear that this isn't about nostalgia or a redemption arc. This is about a payday, and a large one. So, what's the problem? The fit. Simmons brings almost 0 perimeter shooting and spacing, and that runs directly counter to the offensive structure this front office and incoming coach Mike Brown have meticulously built. That setup demands shooters, floor spacers, pace, and paired-up talent. Simmons would clog things, not liberate them. He's literally the player least aligned with what these Knicks are constructing. A high-powered, space-first, fast-paced, modern NBA offense. So, yes, the Knicks fully explored the Simmons angle. But this isn't some deep pursuit. It's more of a courtesy check. They considered the story, but smartly walked away. From what I'm hearing, he's now monitoring teams with MLE, mid-level exception, offers. And unless something shifts dramatically, it looks like nothing will come from this opportunity. But give credit where it's due. That exploration shows this front office is committed to maximizing value and leaving no stone unturned, even when that stone is loud, pricey, and stylistically off-brand. Now, I want to know what you think. Should the Knicks have pursued Ben Simmons? Could he have unlocked something? Or would he have thrown a wrench into the system? Let me know in the comments below. If this breakdown gave you insight, hit like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. You're going to want to be first in the loop when the next big Knicks move drops. This is Shams Charania, signing off. Catch you in the next update. Peace. Across the league, there's growing skepticism and even discomfort surrounding Ben Simmons and the trajectory of his NBA career. And recently, the New York Knicks found themselves unexpectedly tied to the former All-Star. Sources confirm the Knicks did in fact check in on Simmons during free agency. That's right, Ben Simmons, a player whose journey over the last decade has drawn just as much criticism as it has curiosity. And yes, eyebrows have been raised, especially given his past and the current direction of the Knicks organization. Let's rewind a bit. From the start of his collegiate journey at LSU, it was evident Simmons had the tool, but maybe not the focus. LSU wasn't exactly built to contend in college basketball during his time there, yet that didn't seem to matter. Simmons chose the environment, the culture, the energy, the lifestyle, more than the competitive opportunity, and it showed. There were reports that he routinely skipped classes and even faced academic suspensions. Fast forward to now, and people are asking, why would Leon Rose express interest in a player with that kind of track record, particularly when the Knicks are building a culture based on accountability, chemistry, and grit? There are 2 prevailing theories here. First, Leon Rose, as he often does, is simply checking in on every available player, doing his due diligence, testing the market. The second theory, which appears more plausible, is rooted in front office diplomacy. With the Knicks recently hiring Mike Brown and reportedly checking in on LeBron James, sources believe Rose is actively rebuilding ties with Rich Paul and Klutch Sports. Simmons, of course, is one of Klutch's prominent clients. That context may explain the outreach. Now, about Simmons himself, what's left of his reputation. Career-wise, he's posted solid numbers: 13 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists per game on 55% shooting. He's a 3-time All-Star, a former Rookie of the Year, and has 2 All-Defensive first-team selections under his belt. In 2019-20, he even earned All-NBA third-team honors and led the league in steal. By 2021, he was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, but the decline has been steep since then. His confidence, especially in postseason play, visibly evaporated during that infamous moment in the 2021 playoffs when he passed up a wide-open dunk. That was the moment everything shifted. He later cited back issues and mental health struggles, which eventually led to his departure from Philadelphia and his arrival in Brooklyn via the James Harden deal. Since then, availability has been a serious concern. After extended absences, Simmons played just 42 games during his first Brooklyn stint. He averaged 7 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists, a steep drop from his all-star form. Back issues continued to plague him. Fast forward to the 2023-24 season, Simmons appeared in only 15 games. Then, this past year, he suited up for a combined 51 games between Brooklyn and Los Angeles after being acquired by the Clippers. And what did we see? Once in LA, the destination he always wanted, Simmons averaged just 3 points per game. His role was minimal, his impact marginal. Yet he's seeking more than a veteran minimum contract in free agency. That's the backdrop. That's what the Knicks evaluated. And despite checking in, league insiders say it's highly unlikely Simmons becomes part of the Knicks' future plan. The talent is still there in flashes, but the fit, culturally, competitively, structurally, it just doesn't add up. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue tracking the Knicks' offseason and the evolving free agent market. The Knicks' approach this offseason has been filled with calculated decisions and background evaluations. And in a surprising twist, sources confirm the front office conducted internal reviews on 2 former top lottery picks, Ben Simmons and DeAndre Ayton. Let's start with Simmons. The 28-year-old guard forward finished last season averaging just 3.1 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, shooting 43% from the field, with most of his looks coming strictly at the rim. His production on the defensive end took a noticeable hit as well, with both his steal and block rates declining significantly. His overall minutes dropped, and there was little indication of him making a meaningful impact in any consistent way. Due to cap restrictions, especially after locking in Jordan Clarkson and Guerschon Yabusele, the Knicks are sitting just under the NBA's second tax apron. League insiders say that New York could barely afford to offer Simmons even a veteran minimum deal at this point. But Simmons isn't the only former top pick who generated some internal buzz in New York's front office. League sources told me that the Knicks were among several teams, including the Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, Pacers, Cavaliers, and Nuggets, who reached out to the Portland Trail Blazers to express exploratory interest in DeAndre Ayton before he ultimately agreed to terms with Los Angeles. Following his buyout from Portland this past Sunday, Trail Blazers GM Joe Cronin received strong inquiries. Despite prior reports suggesting possible locker room friction, multiple executives I spoke with were told Ayton received positive feedback from Portland's coaching staff regarding his effort and presence behind the scenes. Now, as far as on-court performance goes, Ayton's production stands in contrast to Simmons. Last season, he posted averages of 14.5 points, 10 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 block, and just under 1 steal per game, shooting an efficient 56% from the field. However, defensive metrics remain a sticking point. Once viewed as a generational big on both ends, Ayton has fallen short of those expectations, particularly on the defensive end, where he's often struggled to anchor a unit despite his size and mobility. And while his floor spacing hasn't evolved either, he connected on just 19% from beyond the arc last year. Ayton remains one of the league's top-tier rebounders, but Portland never got the version of him they'd hoped for when they acquired him in the three-team deal that also sent Jusuf Nurkic and Bradley Beal to Phoenix. In Portland, Ayton's two-year stint included some flashes, but also a stretch of games missed due to injuries and off-court oddities, like a notable absence caused by extreme winter conditions in the Northwest, which reportedly prevented him from safely traveling to a game. Over 51 appearances in a Blazers uniform, he averaged 7 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 1.6 assists, with 57% shooting from the floor and a true shooting percentage of 58.5%. However, he averaged fewer than 1 block per game and shot a subpar 16.7% from three. Even with solid rebounding numbers, scouts and execs remain unconvinced that he meaningfully elevates a contending team. For the Lakers, this move might offer some short-term front-court stability, but it doesn't significantly shift the Western Conference landscape. And internally, some around the league wonder whether this could trigger further decisions in Los Angeles, including the possibility of LeBron James re-evaluating his future with the team. Back to New York. The question now turns to Leon Rose. What exactly is the Knicks president strategizing behind the scenes? From my understanding, the Knicks were never close to finalizing anything with either Simmons or Ayton. These were exploratory conversations, part of a broader effort by the front office to canvass the market and revisit every option. But ultimately, there's a sense of relief internally that neither player is heading to Madison Square Garden. We'll continue monitoring New York's activity as free agency continues to unfold. And while names like DeAndre Ayton and Ben Simmons have surfaced in connection to New York, league insiders make it clear the Knicks have no urgency or real need to pursue either. According to sources close to the situation, the front office believes the current roster is built around chemistry, competitive intensity, and locker room leadership. Adding a player like Simmons, whose recent history includes prolonged absences, inconsistency, and questions about attitude and accountability, simply doesn't align with where the Knicks are headed. And as one executive put it, this team doesn't need a distraction. They're building something that actually works. So, what does that mean going forward? Expect the Knicks to stay calculated. They've been aggressive, but measured in every move so far. They don't want to disrupt momentum or introduce unnecessary risk. Right now, Ben Simmons is viewed as exactly that, risk. Still, the door's never fully closed in this league. If a team believes in Simmons' upside and believes their environment can reignite his career, perhaps a franchise with less pressure and more patience, he could find a new home, but it likely won't be in New York. We'll keep you updated as the Knicks continue their off-season push and monitor potential additions around the league. For those following, you can find additional coverage, including extended free agency analysis, player development notes, and roster movement breakdowns. Stay close, things are just getting started.